If you don't understand why your drive has just suddenly vanished over time, you are just going to waste years forcing yourself to just grind harder, which will then just lead your body into complete destruction. Your nervous system is going to be fried. Problems that used to be easy are now going to feel monumental to you. And it's going to give the impression that you're weakening and you're getting lazy. But that is absolutely not the case. And that's what I want to reveal to you today. This way you can reclaim that power and apply it into your marriage, your business, your career, wherever you wish. Let's get started with the background drain. This one is a real sleeper, especially, we're high performers, individuals who are leaders in our own environment, our own life. And so we kind of get very carried away by the role, and then we forget how much we're actually just carrying behind the scenes. Imagine you are the smartphone and your drive, your ambition is symbolized by this battery. You will find over time that your battery is just constantly low. It never feels full. Even if you have a good night's rest, a hearty meal, maybe occasionally you'll feel all right, but the minute you get put in a specific spot, maybe in your day-to-day tasks and challenges, you feel that battery absolutely plummet. Now, most people think it's a laziness thing. They feel they're just being lazy and they got to force themselves. But no, what is actually happening is there are multiple apps running in the background. If you have your calculator, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, just running behind the scenes, it is using up energy. And then by the time you want to actually use your phone for anything, you notice it went from 80% down to 40%. And you're like, what the hell? Like, what just happened, dude? These are your scripts. The script that says you have to be the provider all the time, the protector, the successful one, the guy who wins all the time, who's always says the right things. It is a script that is now adopted and it's part of your identity that you've been living by for a very long time. You lose your drive because you have too many survival loops, not because it simply just vanished. When you place yourself into a script, the protector, the provider, not that there's anything wrong with that. That's actually the role of the masculine. But the reasons as to why you are playing that role are very important. What is the fuel source? Because when you understand that, that'll really illuminate to you what is it that you're actually doing? Why am I actually doing all these things anyway? And the minute you begin to challenge that, all of a sudden things begin to open up. The script that you have used to survive is on life support. Think of it as like a box. When you're first in it, when you're younger, maybe perhaps the way your upbringing was, it feels like the appropriate thing to do. You adapted, you found your way to move forward. Maybe because your family had a lot of emotional struggles, you took the mantle to be the person who would regulate the room. But for a child to do that it's not appropriate. It's not your time. But you had to survive and adapt. And because of that, you shaped yourself into a particular script, a particular persona. Now that helped you, and in fact, brought you to where you are today, successful, and you've done a lot of things in your life, but you are feeling that script. It cannot expand with you, and it stays the same size. So as you expand within it, you're hitting the walls. And that's when you feel this sense of suffocation. You don't have a broken battery. You just have too many apps running in the background of your mind. The longer we suppress the expression of our soul, the parts of us that want to live, the more pain and suffering you are going to experience. The way to illustrate it is through what I call the energy bleed. This is a basketball, and imagine I push that basketball underneath the water. Now, what happens if I let go of that basketball? Well, it's going to fly right up into the air and completely create like this whole explosion. Water is going to go all over the place. The ball represents a part of you that you've had to store away in order for the script to live. Let's say that script requires you to be a people pleaser. You always have to say yes to those around you because you've established yourself as the reliable one, the one who is always there, can fix anything, do anything. And the idea of saying no, the idea of turning someone away or disappointing them is absolutely just death. It's psychological death. So the basketball that represents your own autonomy, your own power to say, you know what, I don't need to do all this for everybody. That aspect of you is going to scream. Now, at first, it's not very loud because the confinement of the script has a lot of room. So for a little while, you can actually ignore it and stuff it into your shadow. But as that space becomes confined, that part of your soul wishes to express. That is, inside of my integration system, I talk about the soul being a form of expression. It just wants to live in its fullest way. And it can tolerate you ignoring its request for some time. But eventually, everything aligns, the chickens come home to roost, and it's going to make it happen whether you like it or not. And so that basketball, when you push that sucker under the water, what's actually also happening at the same time? Not only are you suppressing that part of yourself, you now have to rely on your constant downward suppression to keep the ball under. Now imagine it's not just the part of you that wants to set boundaries. What if it's the part of you that actually wants to experience a little bit of selfishness? There's nothing wrong with it. Allowing yourself to enjoy and indulge just a little bit in your life, that's another ball you have to push away. What about the other party that's a little aggressive, a little violent, always allowing people to just kind of say what they want to you? Well, that's another basketball you got to hold down. Now, eventually, you can't be responsible with all of them. You can't. You're going to slip up. And when that moment comes, that ball's flying in the air, meaning that part of you that's suppressed is going to explode, completely hijack you, and demand that you integrate it. So you got to locate where your energy is leaking. Otherwise, you will continue to have chronic fatigue, brain fog, and apathy no matter how much you sleep or do anything. Your authentic parts want to live, and ignoring them only creates that upward pressure. And eventually, once that happens, your job is to integrate it into your life in order for you to feel and become more whole, individuated. You aren't burning out because you work too much. You're burning out because you're spending all your strength fighting your own soul. So now, in order to reclaim your edge, bring back that fire, and actually feel excited about life again, we're going to have to drop the mask and let it completely die. I'm going to illustrate it through the analogy of an actor. There was a podcast that Matthew McConaughey, I think he did it with Jordan Peterson, if I'm not mistaken. But he's also talked about in different interviews before. He was classified as the rom-com guy, rom-com comedy. And that was his role. And he was good at it, he enjoyed it. But there came a point in his career that he felt that role, that script, was confining him. His soul was asking to play something different, to do different styles of movie and different styles of performances. But the risk he felt was, if I step out of that, am I even going to get hired for a role? He was so plugged into that specific thing that the only time he would get a call is to play that character. And when he put himself out there for different things, he wasn't really getting anything back. Until eventually now we've seen he's played different roles like Interstellar, so on and so forth. And this happens all the time. So if you imagine the actor, at first, when you play the action hero, he loves it. To be the provider, the person that's meant to be the successful one, hardworking constantly, just day in and day out. It felt good. It provided you what you needed. But then as the years go by, it starts to feel a little stale. Years go by, it gets more stale, and you feel more exhausted, fatigued. You get completely zapped until you feel there's nothing left. So to reclaim your power, you must stop serving the persona that is draining you. And this is the hardest thing because you're going to have to audit the mask. And when it comes to auditing the mask, that entails a persona death, or in other words, an ego death. Asking yourself questions like, why are you still playing this role? It is almost always a childhood script, something you needed to do to survive and adapt. And it helped and did fantastic. It provided you what you have. You have success, but you're not feeling you're inside of that success. It's always just at arm's reach. What part of you is being asked to live or die? It's a mutual experience. There's a role, and there's a misconception that if you let this part of you die, the part of you that, let's say, says, I want to be successful, this big shot, all these things, we believe that if we let that die, then that part of us goes away. It does not go away. It's already been a part of you. It's just taken up too much room and it's draining. Instead, it's bringing in the balance It's bringing in the other aspects that can provide you more fuel, such as rest, such as realizing that there's more to life than just being a leader, than just being a rich guy, or someone who's super funny or has a lot of awards. There are all these different areas that don't drain you. They actually fuel you because you're no longer fighting yourself anymore. You're not fighting your soul, and it's called to express and live fully. The mask you wore to survive your past has become the very cage that is now suffocating you. For the transition to actually occur, it is not going to go from where you are now to immediately the next day, the full part of yourself integrated, all the suppressed energy is now reclaimed, and your power is back, your drive is back. It's not going to work that way. There is a gap in the middle that you must cross. The only way to step into true unconditioned power is to cross the gap between who you pretend to be and who you actually are. This is the sovereign integration process that I talk about in my videos, and also have down below the waitlist. I'm launching that community very, very soon. We're talking in like a week for those who are on the waitlist, and then 2 weeks for those who want to wait until it's fully gone public. Free community, weekly group sessions, my entire sovereign integration system to reclaim your life again, to kill the old scripts and all the things that have kept you stuck in these loops that drain your energy, make you feel pointless, make success feel meaningless, and all these other things. So if that is interesting to you, again, click that link below and join the community and join the waitlist. So this is you. This is where you are right now. In order for you to cross the path and step into that fully integrated state where you feel alive, you have to pass the desert. The desert is once you see the pattern for what it is, see your life for what it's been, that you're now just too confined and you have to let it break. You have to let that identity completely die. And the death of this identity is no longer just you experiencing it internally, it is an external experience as well. People will see you differently. They'll be asking what's going on, why are you acting different? Why are you no longer interested in this? And why are you more interested in that? You are going to get challenged and questioned by everybody. This is why during this transition, you're going to feel confusion. Am I making the right choice? Like, where am I even going? I don't even know. You're going to feel anger, perhaps feeling a sense that you are just wasting time. Maybe even anger at yourself for letting it go this far. Or maybe you're just unregulated during this phase. It is, you're unregulated. Your emotions are all over the place. You might even feel regret. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should not have even jumped into this state of mind. But one thing to remember, that in particular, because I've experienced it firsthand, when the universe, when God comes to you and says, enough is enough, I'm tired of you playing this role, I'm going to force it whether you like it or not, you can feel the wind of change coming. And it's a current that comes and it hits and you got to go with it. And for those that have experienced it, know exactly what I'm talking about. And these are the things, by the way, we talk about in the community. You're going to be grieving. You're going to be grieving the person that you've been building up for so long, that you have an attachment to, even though it is now no longer suitable for who you are today. But you have to grieve it. You have to grieve some of the people around you. Some people might not stick around, unfortunately. They might not. They liked you the way you were. And that's the most difficult thing. If you've had best friends, relationships, girlfriends, wives, whatever it is, that all of a sudden you start to, it's not changing into something different. They're seeing it as you're this one person, now you're completely different. They're not able to understand that it's actually still you, but just different parts of you that have come to life finally, that are craving to live. And, bear in mind, that's difficult for people to see. It's scary. Like, it reflects back at them, perhaps the parts of their lives that they've suppressed. Maybe they feel like they've wasted. So for some people, you're public enemy number one. For some people, you're an inspiration, but it honestly doesn't even matter. That's what's important. Forget about the noise around you, not meaning you're rude and you're going to be a jerk or a dick or anything and not care about people's emotions. No, you're going to be careful. You're going to be sovereign. You're going to act like a king in this environment, making the best decisions possible. But you are not going to allow the external to have heavy influence on what part of you wants to manifest and how your soul really wishes to live. Thank you very much. Click that link down below. Join the community. Stop living in a state of mind where it's an old script keeping you locked down, the same patterns, the same things. Break free, walk the desert, step into who you can actually be fully integrated. And you no longer have to do that alone. I will see you on the next video.